What's up, sports fans? This is EWS Sports. We're doing college football. Let's get right into it.
We're doing our Week 12 review on last week's college football games. And first, we have our big storylines from last week. And the first storyline is that James Franklin is 100% ready to go against Ole Miss this week. It's a good sign for Mizzou.
Yeah, Matty Mock's done his part, and now it's time to go back to Franklin. I look to see what Mizzou can do this week.
It'll be a fun game to watch. Next storyline, Keith Price is questionable with a right shoulder injury, so they're preparing their redshirt freshman Siler Miles. That's Washington.
Yeah, Washington just hasn't looked themselves lately. I mean, they started out really well, and then they've had a couple key losses.
Now, Taj Boyd with a big win last week. He will play with his injured collarbone, so that's good for the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah. All right, now we have some impact performers from last week. These were three great performances. First, we have Carlos Hyde, the running back out of Ohio State. This is not the first time he's been on this list. He put up 246 rushing yards, 4 rushing TDs, and then he had a passing touchdown from Braxton Miller versus Illinois. They looked very strong. Second, I have the Boston College running back Andre Williams. He had 339 rushing yards. That is good for an ACC record. And he had 2 rushing touchdowns versus NC State. Third, Colorado State's running back Capri Bibbs had 291 rushing yards. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 rushing touchdowns versus New Mexico. 3 great performances, Daniel.
Great performance for the Eagles running back. And I want you to mention a running back here in H-Town for Rice. Charles Ross, 5 rushing touchdowns, 215 yards. An impressive week for the Owls. And another thing we forgot to mention, Mike Leach's contract has been extended to 2018 for the Washington State Cougars.
Yeah, he's a great coach.
Let's recap last week with our big games.
And were some upsets.
Duke upsets Miami. Awesome game. For me, at least, I love Duke. They beat Miami. They now are in the driver's seat. They control their own destiny to play Florida State in the ACC Championship.
Yeah, and that was a score of 48-30, by the way.
Next, we have Oklahoma State defeating Texas 38-13. Shelf had a great game. 4 touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing.
Yeah, he just ate up that UT defense. I mean, Oklahoma State's showing why they should be one of the best in the Big 12.
And we got a great game. Auburn defeats Georgia within the last minute of the game, 43-38 on a deflected Hail Mary pass. Incredible, hilarious reactions for both sides.
Yeah, and Auburn moves to number 6 in the BCS. And their next game is the Iron Bowl versus Alabama. That'll be a great game.
That will be a great game.
Next, Michigan State is showing why they have one of the best defenses in the nation, forcing 5 turnovers versus Nebraska. And they won by a score of 41-28.
They've just been so ridiculously good over the past, the whole season. But man, we've learned a lot about them in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, and now they take a 2-game lead in the Big Ten Legends division, and there are 2 games left, so they look to be in the Big Ten championship. Next, Baylor, one of the most well-rounded teams in football, defeated Texas Tech 60-34. Petty had 5 total touchdowns, and they just had a very good performance.
Good performance, that's an understatement, without their leading running back, Seastrunk.
Yeah, outstanding performance. And next, I called it, Michael, our guest picker, called it, USC was able to beat number 4 at the time, Stanford, on a last-minute field goal by a score of 20-17.
That was an incredible game. After Stanford beat Oregon, I thought for sure they would have no trouble rolling past the Trojans, but USC made a statement. I love their interim coach. He's great.
Yeah, he wants to be their new coach for good now.
I think he deserves it.
Yeah, he does. Beating Stanford, I mean, that's great. All right, so stay tuned for our next video, we will be predicting some great games. There are 5 games between 2 ranked teams.
Okay, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, and happy birthday, Mom.